Welcome to the video on pension adjustment reversals, called PAR for short. Now, before getting into this video, if this is the first one you're watching with us, I've linked to a different video on defined benefit pension plans. If you are not familiar with them, you really do need to go watch that video before coming to this one. Pension adjustment reversals are one aspect of a defined benefit pension plan, so you need to be familiar with those plans before coming into this video. Now, a pension adjustment reversal, first of all, let's break that down. It starts with a pension adjustment. So when you're part of a defined benefit pension plan and your employer is putting in money for you because the benefit is defined down the road, it's creating a pension adjustment which lowers your RSP contribution room. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but people say, where's the reversal coming in? Defined benefit pension plans are built for individuals, for employees who are expected to spend the large majority, if not the entirety, of their working careers with one employer. If they work there for 30 years, then they'll get X amount at a later time. So typically the formula is 2% times a certain ratio, call it your salary, or your best 5 years, or whatever it is, times the years of service. So if you earn $100,000 a year, your future annual benefit for 1 year with $100,000 salary is going to be $2,000. As we covered in the previous video, that is how much you will get from age 65 until age 90. It's fairly straightforward. Every single year, as we already discovered or discussed in the previous video, you have to calculate your pension adjustment to determine your unused RSP room. If you earned $100,000, 18% of that is $18,000. That's how much you can put into an RSP. A pension plan set up by your employer is going to remove that room from you in the form of a pension adjustment. And that formula, remember, it's 9 times the future annual benefit, close bracket, minus $600. What that means is that if you have a 2% conversion factor of 100 times 100,000, your future annual benefit for the 1 year of service is $2,000 a year from age 65 to age 90. So 9 times $2,000 is $18,000 minus 600, that's the buffer, is equal to $17,400. So we understand that is your pension adjustment. As long as you're working there, irregardless of how old you are, you could be 30, 35, you can be 20 years old, you can be 62 years old. If you earn $100,000 a year and your pension provides a benefit, a future annual benefit that's 2% times your salary for the 1 year you work there, you're getting a $2,000 annual benefit. Now, in the previous example, we had an 8% rate of return inside the pension. We had determined that at age 65, and I'll draw it up over here again, age 65, we had to have so much inside of the pension plan to get that $2,000 a year, remember? So, first of all, we have to determine the pension adjustment. We have to do the numbers again, and then I'll explain the reversal part. I know you're probably sitting there going, I just watched the other video. He's taking a while to get to the point. This is repetitive. That's okay. We need to go over it just to be sure. So we said that in retirement, you would die at age 90. It's 25N, 8% I/Y, 25N, 0 future value, $2,000 payments, compute present value. We said there has to be $21,350, right? Okay, that's perfectly fine. That's what has to be there at age 65. So 21,350, future value, 0 PMT, 8% I/Y, 5N, compute the present value, is going to be 14,530 at age 60. And we said if we go 30 years before, it's 2,121. So where the pension adjustment reversal comes in is this. The employer has to deposit so much money for you, kind of like that, to get to the 21,350, okay? The thing is, every single year that goes by, your employer is depositing more and more money to get you to the 21,350 in retirement. And so what happens is that your employer, every single year, they gave you a pension adjustment of $17,400, but yet they never contributed the $17,400. They contributed $21,021 or $14,530. And so people say, well, like, what's going on? Well, here's the thing. What's going on is that your pension adjustment of $17,400 per year is far too much if you leave your employer early. An 8% rate of return on the pension is actually far too high. We're going into higher inflationary times right now, and so 8% is normal, but between 2010 and 2020, 6% was very normal, which means the 14,530 would actually be a higher number. So what ends up happening is that over your entire life, from call it age 30 when you join your employer to age 65, your pension adjustment was exactly the same. But the amount that your employer had to contribute increased every single year. Well, if you didn't make it till age 65, you left at age 55, all of a sudden, this part is no longer equal to this part. In fact, all those years that you had to, or the employer had to put in a lot more money to balance it out, those don't exist because you've experienced a vocational shift. And so you had all those years where your pension adjustment was way up here and the contributions by your employer were way down there. It was less than that. Now, when you join the plan, the actuaries and your employer anticipated that you'd be there for the whole thing, for the whole career, so the lower years would average out with the higher years, and so that was okay. It turns out you got to age 55 or 60 or whatever it is, you weren't actually there long enough to get your full pension, you left earlier, so what should have averaged out does not average out because you had all the lower years, you lost all the higher years, so it turns out we've reported, or the employer has reported, pension adjustments over many years that were above the expected average of your entire career because you weren't there long enough, you didn't work enough years. And so they will reverse that back and give you that room. The pension adjustment, forget reversal, the pension adjustment lowers your unused RSP room. We did the calculation a moment ago. The pension adjustment reversal gives it back. It will increase your unused RSP room. If and when you are in a position where you're leaving your employer, it's very possible that they're going to give you a stack of some paperwork and say, look, if you want to take the pension, it's so much a month, that's fine. If you want to take it, you're only allowed to shelter so much of it, and the rest you have to take it as cash or put it into an RSP. That's perfectly fine because all the calculations were done at the onset with the expectation you'd be there for your entire career. Those expectations are no longer met, and the ramifications are that a large portion, probably 80 to 90% of it, whatever it is, can remain tax sheltered, but there's another amount on top of it that cannot go into the pension because you just weren't there for enough years. So you have to take that money and do something else with it. The good news is that if you have a pension adjustment reversal, your unused RSP room will increase, and so the amount that is not tax sheltered now all of a sudden can go into the RSP as you have this new unused room provided by the pension adjustment reversal. Alrighty, on that, I do want to take a moment and tell you a very quick joke because that's going to be the most exciting part of today's video. I understand this is probably not something hugely of interest that people want to sit next to me at a dinner party and discuss. This is something that's important to you when you're faced with this decision. And I encourage you to go back and rewatch the video if you need to, or to read up more on this particular topic. So what is the definition of an actuary? An actuary is someone who wanted to be an accountant but couldn't stand the excitement. Actuaries are also the ones that do the calculations for these defined benefit pension plans with life expectancy and such things like that. Thank you again for watching the video, and we'll speak to you again soon.